Good morning, everyone. The Calamari sisters will be out shortly. No, I'm just kidding. It's a nice crowd here. My name is Amy Fuller, and I'd like to welcome you to the State of the City and County and also to Auburn Public Theater. I'd like to thank today's sponsors. Our event sponsor is 2+4 Property Management. Our breakfast sponsor is Marker USA. Coffee sponsor is Hunt Real Estate. And of course, our diamond members, Lakeside Enterprise, Lions National Bank, and Tompkins. We have a number of elected officials in attendance today. There's a handout that was over when you walked in. Please feel free to grab one and take one with you. This so I don't miss anybody's name, so they're all listed right on there for you. We will begin with the City of Auburn, followed by the county's update, after which we will have a Q&A. So without any further ado, I'll send the county up, or the city up here. Mayor Jimmy Giantino. Hello. I didn't even see you behind me.
Good morning, everyone. Hear me okay? All right, good. Thank you for affording us this opportunity to highlight the last year in the state of the city. I want to start by reintroducing our members of council. Councilor Christina Clarko and Councilor Rhoda Overstreet Wilson are finishing up their first year. They're here in attendance. Councilor Ginny Kent is finishing up her fourth year on council. She's here as well. And Councilor Terry Cuddy, who will be finishing up his 12th year on city council. I'm very pleased to announce that both Terry and Ginny have decided to run for re-election. They've been invaluable partners, especially in our water quality issues. So I was pleased that they're willing to put themselves out there again. It was a very active and busy year for the city of Auburn. As you know, we provide a number of services. This slide here just kind of highlights some of the things we do as an organization. We're proud of the work we do. We're proud of our entire team at the city of Auburn. And our success is because of them. And I can't underscore enough how appreciative I am of the work that they do on a daily basis. As some of you, or most of you probably know, City Manager Jeff Digert let us know last year that he planned to retire at the end of his contract, which is this year. We are very appreciative that he gave us that type of heads up so that we could plan accordingly. And we're very pleased to announce, and I'm sure you know this as well, that longtime city employee Jenny Haynes has decided and accepted our offer to be the next city manager. Yes. I want to thank Jeff for his service, over 30 years of service to the city of Auburn, not only as a city manager the last 9 years, but a firefighter and fire chief. He has done a tremendous job. A lot of our success is because of his leadership. And I also want to thank Jenny for taking this role on. I want to thank her for her 30 years of service to the city of Auburn. So rest assured we're in good hands, and I just want to thank them both. We're moving into our budget year. That'll start here in the next couple of weeks at City Council. We just wanted to kind of provide an overview of the budget, where the sources of revenue come from, and what that money's spent on. You can see that there's a variety of sources that this money comes from, whether it's property taxes, state and federal funding, sales tax. And, the bottom part shows where we're spending that money. There's a lot of talk about government efficiency these days, and I will tell you that this government operates very efficiently. There's not a lot of fat in that budget, and it gets harder and harder because the cost of business continues to increase. And you'll see that a majority of the cost is the people who do the work for all of you on a daily basis. So it comes down to making those hard decisions all the time on what services are vital, what services we can do without. And, typically there's not many services we can do without. So it's a balancing act every year. I'm proud of the work we do. Our comptroller, Mary Beth Leeson, has done a fantastic job since coming on board. So as we move into the budget season, we've got a lot of work to do, but I'm confident that we'll get through it. I mentioned AIM funding. That's aid and incentive to municipalities. That's funding that comes from the state of New York. It used to be called revenue sharing. It was established under Governor George Pataki, and it was at a set amount. And the plan was to increase that pot of money to municipalities every year between 2.5% and 7%. And that would depend on whether or not you stayed within the property tax cap. I've been on council for 9 years. We have never busted the property tax cap. We try very hard to keep property taxes affordable and still provide the services that people rely on. The issue that we run into is this funding has not been increased in 16 years. Now, last year, we did get what they call a temporary bump, and that was helpful. I'm happy to announce that that's been included in the budget this year. Hopefully that stays as the state works through the budget process. But the reality of it is, without increasing that funding on an annual basis, it actually hurts property owners here in the city of Auburn and municipalities across the state. This is our money that we send to Albany, whether it's sales tax or income tax, coming back to us. It's the only pot of unrestricted money that we have. It's what we pay firefighters and police officers and sanitation workers with. My entire time in local government, we have, I feel, as a municipality, led the effort to try to pressure the governor to increase this funding. Recently, in the last year, myself, City Manager Jeff Dygert, Assistant City Manager Jenny Haynes, have been working with other mayors across the region to try to build a coalition to put the pressure on the governor and the legislature to increase this funding. So oftentimes people ask how they can help. Please give a call and support this effort. This graph is pretty telling. The green line is where we're at and where we've been at for the past 16 years. The blue line is if we had received increases at 2 to 2.5%. The yellow line is if we had received increases at 7.5%. It would be a much different financial picture for municipalities across the state. So this is an important topic. We'll continue to put the pressure on, and hopefully at some point the governor and the legislature will listen to us on this. One thing we get questioned on often is the price of water. People think the price of water is too high. Clean, safe drinking water is something that's necessary, and it takes a lot of work to deliver that to people. And we wanted to share this graph because it shows the numbers. It shows that the city of Auburn is actually providing clean drinking water at a lower rate than municipalities in our region. We want to continue to do that effectively and efficiently. Our Director of Municipal Utilities, Seth Jensen, has done a great job in his entire time in that role of trying to build consensus with the towns that buy water from the city of Auburn, and to come up with a methodology on determining what those rates are. In the old days, and I can tell you this, in the old days, I think people just picked numbers out of hats, because when I came on council and Seth came into the job, which was shortly after, he tried explaining to us how people were paying for sewer and water, and it just really didn't make sense. So I want to credit Seth for doing that work, and he's done a great job of building relationships with towns across the region, and I really think it shows how we can all collaborate together, work together towards a common cause. One of the things I'm most proud of in our first year is the reestablishment of the summer rec program. Knocking on doors in elections, one of the things we heard constantly was, hey, you got to bring back the summer rec program. I remember the summer rec program when I was a kid. They called it, playground directors, and every playground had a group of people working there, and that's where we hung out all day. We listened to them. Brian Rhodes, employee of the city of Auburn, has done a great job of reestablishing this program. Last year it exploded, and part of the reason why it exploded is the generosity of a number of businesses and foundations across the community, and I cannot thank them enough. Many of you are in here in this room, and if everybody could just please give them a round of applause. The summer rec program looks a lot different than the summer rec program when I was a kid, and I think that's important too, because as times change, programs should change. This program does cooking classes for kids, and believe it or not, that's one of the most attended activities all summer long. I had a chance to stop down at each of the sites to witness what was going on. And I can't thank staff enough. Brian Rhodes, as I said, has done a tremendous job, and I'm super proud that we were able to get this going again. Last summer, we cut the ribbon on the Casey Park Skate Park. I graduated high school 32 years ago, and I had a bunch of friends in high school that were skateboarders. And there was a saying, skateboarding is not a crime. And yeah, that was a real thing, right, Jesse? Right, Jesse? Unfortunately, we locally didn't treat it as such. We thought that it was a crime locally. And this has been something that people have been asking for a long time. This whole project, I'm super proud of it. People from all over the region, people who had grown up in Auburn, graduated and moved away to Rochester, came back for these public meetings. That's how passionate they were about it. As you can see, there were a variety of funding sources, from the federal government to the state government to local foundations. It is an amazing world-class destination. We're seeing people from all over the country showing up to skateboard here. Just super proud of this as well. Bud Shattuck said to me, talk about water. So I'm going to talk about water. Another ribbon cutting we had this year was at our water filtration plant. Early 1900s, city leaders recognized the importance of clean, safe drinking water, and they established, excuse me, the slow sands filter plant at our City of Auburn filtration plant. If you went in that building, it looked like it was built in the early 1900s, and it needed necessary upgrades. Once again, I want to credit Seth Jensen for heading up this project, Christina Selvik for securing the funding for this project. You know, when I'm done in local government, I want to make sure I leave a legacy that shows progress and success, and this is one of the things I'm most proud of. We are at a tipping point regionally, not just in Auburn, a tipping point regionally in drinking water, and this shows our commitment to making sure the people of Auburn and the surrounding areas have clean, safe drinking water. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to City Manager Jeff Diger. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go through very briefly some of our current projects. I do want to thank all of our city staff who've contributed to the projects and to the information that I'll present here this morning. And thanks to Steve Selvik, our Director of Planning, for helping to put together this program today. And City Clerk Chuck Mason, even though Chuck put a 9-year-old picture of me in, that made me feel a little self-conscious this morning. So up on the screen, we have an aerial shot of our wastewater treatment plant. It's not as, well, I guess it depends on who you are and what you're into, but it's not like going to Hoops Park or anything like that. You probably don't want to have a family event here, but it's important. It's the largest capital project the city has ever undertaken, but it's important. And as we look at it, it's an over $90 million project. Of course, the construction trades and the cost of construction has certainly increased over the last few years, especially. Approximately a $90 million project, $25 million of that through a statewide revolving loan fund grant, approximately $41 million in interest-free financing from the federal government through the bipartisan infrastructure law, approximately $16 million in market rate financing. So that keeps us on track for to limit the amount of borrowing we're doing and keep it at a reasonable rate. And another $9 million grant through New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, leaving approximately $2 million of that over $90 million project that will get passed along through rates. This project allows us to provide environmentally safe and efficient service to the city and the surrounding communities with a minimal impact on rates. So to be able to do a project of this size and scope without a massive increase in rates is a real testament to all of our staff, including Christina Selvik, who, as all of you know, has done tremendous work for many years, gathering up and making us eligible for grant funding. So truly a team project that's going to benefit the entire community, not just the city of Auburn, but the surrounding towns that utilize that service and put us in a good spot for future development. Other current projects that we have, every municipality in New York State has been mandated by New York State to do an inventory of lead service lines for drinking water distribution systems. We have a project that will be moving forward. We've been doing this for the last few years now, incrementally. Most recently, we've received approximately $900,000 to fund the next phase of that project. We're happy to report as this project moves forward, we are actually very fortunate where we have pretty good records going back, and we do not feel that we have an overly burdensome problem with lead service lines within our water system, and that's not the case in every municipality in New York State. So we're fortunate. So that's good. Next up, we have the Hoops Park Pond Wall Restoration Project. So those of you that love to walk or walk your dog around Hoops Park have probably been pretty upset with the city for the last couple of months. It's a little bit of a mess down there. On days, it's a lot of a mess. That project is funded primarily with a $150,000 grant secured by then Senator John Mannion. And that project is the dredging of Hoops Pond, repair of the wall, and ultimately the restoration. And we chose to do that project during the winter time. Not ideal for construction, but it certainly will help get Hoops Park back in shape for the upcoming summer season. Road construction's been a big deal. Always has been a big deal for the last few years. We've invested significantly more in our road construction and rehabilitation program than we have in prior years. We are looking at approximately $2 million worth of work for road construction this year, which is, again, a significant improvement over prior years. We've been very lucky. The last 2 or 3 years have been mild as far as the winters go. This year, you may have noticed on your way here today, some of the roads are in rough shape due to the winter, but we have a plan for that, and we'll continue to work on that. And our road condition report has actually improved year over year for the last probably 6 or 8 years, which is actually a good thing. Along with our road construction projects, we have various state roads that bypass or go through the city. And the most common one that we all know is the arterial, or routes 5 and 20 through the city. That is slated for significant reconstruction to the tune of, I believe, around $25 million, starting in 2026 and going through 2027, from the city line on the west end of the city to Standard Avenue. So that will be a major issue. Start planning your detours now, because that will be, have to break a few eggs once in a while, and that's going to be definitely an impactful project. But will be great when it's done. The Aurelius Ave Bridge on the west end is another upcoming project we have, approximately a $10 million project to replace that historic stone bridge that is in that location. And the one that you've probably heard the most about recently is the Lake Avenue Bridge project, which would happen out a ways and probably in the next year. Another $10 million project, not a complete replacement, but a very significant rehabilitation of that very, very busy bridge. So not only is there a need to do that structurally, we're aware that that's going to cause a significant disruption. So be patient. And when that happens, direct your concerns to City Manager Jennifer Haynes, who will be in the office at that point in time. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Jenny Haynes, and I want to thank Jenny for all of her support in the 9 years that I've been in this position, and I'm grateful as a taxpayer and citizen of the city of Auburn, as well as an employee of the city of Auburn, to see Jenny take on this responsibility.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Jeff, for outlining our city projects and initiatives and some challenges that are ahead of us. There's some exciting things to come, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to outline those. First, you probably won't be surprised that I want to talk about economic development. The city continues to work proactively with community partners, including Auburn Industrial Development Authority, the Cayuga County Industrial Development Agency, and the Small Business Development Center to provide our local companies with resources needed for retention and expansion projects. In addition, we're continuing to work together to position Auburn and Cayuga County for regional opportunities with focused committee work, as well as participation with regional partners, including Empire State Development, Central New York Regional Economic Development Council, Central State CEO, the Central New York Regional Planning and Development Board. They know who we are, and we have a seat at the table in discussions related to these regional opportunities. The city does understand the importance of embracing our historic and cultural sites and other tourism-related businesses as an important driver in our economy. The Downtown Revitalization Initiative application that the City of Auburn submitted in 2018 resulted in awards to several of these types of organizations. DRI projects moving forward in 2025 include improvements of the Seward House Museum and the West End Arts Campus, which is a collaboration between the Schweinfurth Art Center and the Cayuga Museum. Both of these projects are planning ribbon cuttings in May. We're excited to see that. Willard Memorial Chapel and 22 East Genesee Street projects are also moving forward. The City of Auburn also provided $250,000 in ARPA funding to each project at the Seward House Museum, Cayuga Museum, and Schweinfurth Art Center. The Wall Street Playground, I just want to take a quick moment to say I really love our playground projects because what we do is we go out and talk to the community about what they'd like to see, actually the neighborhoods that these are serving. The planning staff does a great job with that, and the neighborhoods are designed and built according to what the community would like to see. Total investment from our Community Development Block Grant Program for this project is $617,000. It's moved forward in two phases. Phase 1 was completed this past year in 2024. Scope of work included drainage and site work, new fencing, play structures for youth 2 to 5 years of age, new swing set for 5 to 12-year-olds, asphalt walking path, clearing of brush to open up the view of Owasco River, which is fantastic, and installation of some benches. This year, we're planning to be out to bid in the summer of 2025 to finish the project, including installation of a climbing structure for 5 to 12-year-olds, resurfacing the basketball court, fencing along the basketball court, and installation of a new pavilion and landscaping. There's been a lot of discussion across New York State about the shortage of housing. The city has a deep interest in understanding those housing needs in our community and pursuing opportunities for housing development. The city showed our commitment to housing by being one of the first in Central New York to pursue New York State certification as a pro-housing community, which was received in March 2024. And we wanted to highlight a couple of housing projects that are being proposed in the city. At 197 State Street, Housing Visions Consultants is working to develop a new 4-story building that would consist of 26 one-bedroom apartments and site improvements. A portion of these units will provide permanent supportive housing managed by partner agencies. This total project cost is approximately $6 million. In addition, Housing Visions and Auburn Housing Authority Development Company are also pursuing scattered site projects, which that means different houses throughout our neighborhoods, investing in existing neighborhoods to create both homeownership and rental opportunities. Approximately 2 years ago, Jeff Diger and I met with Park Grove Realty as the developer for the Cancer Center project at Auburn Community Hospital. We learned that they were a housing developer as well and met with them to pick their brains on market rate housing. After a lot of discussion and site selection work, Park Grove is proposing a 70-unit market rate project on a city-owned parcel adjacent to Bluefield Manor. The project consists of 70 townhome-style apartments, clubhouse with a great room, exercise room, pet spa, pool, dog park, and pickleball court. So if you're interested, let us know. Estimated median income for residents will be approximately $100,000. Project cost is estimated at $23 million. Wanted to give a shout out and a thank you to Cayuga County Planning and the Cayuga County Legislature, who approved submission of a $1 million application to the County Infrastructure Grant Program to support this project. We're looking forward to hearing back from New York State on this application. And when this funding is approved, I say when, not if, the city will work with Park Grove to begin the development process. Thank you again to Cayuga County. Last week, Christina Selvik, the city's Director of Capital Projects and Grants, presented the 2025 to 2029 Capital Improvement Program, or CIP, to the City Council. The CIP is a multi-year financial plan that lists the physical assets and needs of the city, inventories and analyzes existing conditions, and determines priorities for new amenities when needed. Several capital projects were discussed, including the two you're seeing on the screen. City Hall was dedicated in 1930 and is a significant cultural and historic structure. The City Engineering Department has identified several preservation and maintenance activities needed to restore the building prior to celebrating its centennial in 2030. Approximately $1.8 million in building improvements are needed. The Auburn Police Department and Auburn City Ambulance operate out of 46 North Street, sharing this facility. Due to the nature of the nearly 100-old structure, and extensive renovation is needed to bring the facility up to date and provide appropriate space, access, and security for the public and city staff. Total project cost estimated at approximately $21 million. The City Council and city staff will continue proactive conversations as we work to identify financing sources for these projects. The city's current comprehensive plan was drafted in 2009 and adopted in 2010. The prior plan dated back to 1993. While the current plan has served us well, at more than 15 years old, an update is needed. Comprehensive plan is a long-term land use document that articulates a community's vision and goals for development and growth. This plan is the foundation for all land use regulations and is often necessary when seeking funding opportunities. We've seen significant redevelopment within the city since the adoption of the comprehensive plan, including improvements in downtown, public spaces, and housing. The Office of Planning and Economic Development secured funding from New York State to assist with the comprehensive plan update and will manage this process going forward. Similar to the process in 2009, the city intends to hire a community planning firm to facilitate opportunities for community participation in the update process. We also anticipate that the city's updated comprehensive plan will be a key component to Cayuga County's comprehensive plan, which will be moving forward in a similar timeline. As we continue to work through change in the city manager position, I wanted to say thank you to the city council and the city manager for prioritizing this time for a smooth transition. This speaks to strength in an organization, and I am proud to be part of it. I'm excited to work with the city council and my fellow city employees to continue delivering our services with excellence, efficiency, integrity, and responsibility, with a focus on consistent enhancement for the benefit of our residents, businesses, and partners. Special thank you to Jeff Digert, who has been an incredible mentor for me. I appreciate the work that he's done for the city and thank him for that. Thank you to Auburn Public Theater and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us today. Thank you to our partners at Cayuga County, who I'm looking forward to hearing from next, and thank you all for coming today.
I'm back. Next up will be Shireen Androsco. She's the Cayuga County Operations Officer, followed by Jonathan Anna, who is the Chair of the Legislators. And I also want to thank the city for such a great update. So thank you very much. Didn't fall up the stairs. I was a little worried.
Good morning, everyone. As introduced, I'm the Operations Officer for Cayuga County. Chairman Anna, of whom you will be hearing from soon, asked that I provide some information on the operations of the county. Although I tried to respectfully encourage him to provide most, actually all the speaking, I was unable to convince him of this, so here I am. So I began to ponder about what the focus should be for my talk with you today. I was thinking of the past year, and I immediately moved to the current year. Not to say there isn't anything I could highlight of 2024. However, looking forward helps to place the focus on just that, moving forward. So therefore, I'd like to set a foundation for Chairman Anna in his talk with you today on a few of his visions for Cayuga County. Next slide. So Cayuga County Services encompasses so many areas which are not new to our residents. These services include, and please are not limited to, Sheriff's Office, Emergency Management, 911, Department of Social Services, Public Health, Highway, the District Attorney's Office, Planning Department, the County Clerk's Office, which encompasses Department of Motor Vehicles, Mental Health, the Youth Bureau, and the Office for the Aging. And again, this doesn't encompass all of our services. But all of these and other services are what the county works within and on a daily basis and to support our community. So operationally, these services internally have their day-to-day processes, which involve a constant and consistent need for collaboration between and within all the respective departments. Collaboration, as you may all know, provides the ability to work together on a specific goal, a specific plan, or a project. To move forward, it takes a team and one that works together. The county departments work together as follows, and I've listed them there as you see. Participate in preparing plans for the future. We remain focused on working together in the quality of our community services. We embrace the onward and upward movement of the betterment of our community. And staying up to date on the current trends, regulations, and laws. We gather information for growth. We attempt to set realistic goals with economic control in mind. Departmentally, we support and we enforce the team building. All of this moves towards that synergy and, of course, success of our Cayuga County services. Next. When you list all of this, again, it results in progress. Progress or progression. What does progression represent for Cayuga County and our operations? It's not focusing on the 2024, but on 2025 and what can be done onward from here. Next. So progress is the movement forward, and it's the focus of working together, as I had stated, and on our realistic goals. Again, for the betterment of our community. Our team of employees and legislators, we work together to ensure that our residents receive these quality services and through whatever hurdles come forth. Believe me, challenges do occur. And at first, it may make us step back and say, what is happening? However, it really takes a team to move through these challenges and smoothly to an outcome that will overall strengthen our county. Internal and the external operations are that strength. There's always a big picture, an ultimate vision or goal. So here is just a little takeaway for you today. We need to remember that the strength or support, basically our foundation of any county goal or vision, that big picture is the work of our county team. Progress takes time, patience, and overall perseverance, and it doesn't happen overnight. Our strength and ability to work together, keeping our public in mind, and focusing on why we do what we do daily results in that constant synergy and that overall success. So with that, I would like to now introduce Jonathan Anna, our Cayuga County Chairman, who will provide to you today some of his visions on the county's progress and moving forward. Thank you.
Moment, please. Thank you, Shireen, for your presentation. These lights are bright. I can't even see you guys. She did a great job, by the way. I originally asked her to split the time with me this morning because none of you want to listen to me for a couple minutes. Well, I still promise to keep it. With that said, I do want to thank Shireen. She does do an amazing job as our operations. Thank you. I'm not good at standing in one place. She does do an amazing job as our operations officer. We have a great group of department heads and staff who are dedicated to Cayuga County. And on behalf of myself and the legislature, I'd like to say thank you to all of our employees. 2024 was not an easy year, and their commitment, not just to the county, but to the citizens we serve, are second to none. I think they all deserve our recognition. I just want to start off by saying thank you for recognizing them. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Amy, fellow legislators, and distinguished guests. I'm honored to stand before you this morning as chair of the Cayuga County Legislature. For 227 years, Cayuga County has stood as the eastern gateway to the Finger Lakes. From our northern borders of Lake Ontario, Skinny Atlas, along the shores of Lake Skinny Atlas, Cayuga County, sorry, I apologize. For 227 years, Cayuga County has stood as the eastern gateway to the Finger Lakes. From our northern borders of Lake Ontario, the Skinny Atlas and Cross Lakes on our east, and Cayuga Lake on our western border, and many in between. We have more fresh waterfront land than any other county in our state. State-leading natural habitats, including Montezuma National Wildlife Refuge, Lake Ontario National Marine Sanctuary, and our award-winning Sterling Nature Center. I am proud to report that the Sterling Nature Center has received a 2024 American Public Works Association New York State Project of the Year. That was just announced a couple of weeks ago. We won the regional, and now we've also have won the state award. This award is a result of decades of hard work by the citizens of Sterling, joining together to save a natural habitat along the shores of Lake Ontario. Cayuga County had the bold vision to purchase this land, establish a park, and decades later, work to enhance the visitor experience and the completion of our new interpretive visitor center. I've also advocated and supported for the Cayuga Lake Protection Plan, which will create a sewer district along the Hanukkah Road area within the town of Ledyard. This project will serve to replace old, outdated septic systems with brand-new sewer lines, which is necessary to preserve and protect the waters of Cayuga Lake as a natural, vital resource. This project, which is spearheaded by the Cayuga County Water and Sewer Authority, will be presented to the legislature during the next few months. Cayuga County has a rich history of agriculture and innovation. We have nearly 750 farms spread across 200,000 acres. Today, we are the #1 dairy producing county in New York State and the #2 producer of sheep, wool, and goats. Cayuga Milk Products continues to expand. Auburn Hospital is establishing itself as a regional medical center, and with their new Upstate Cancer Center as a local leader in oncology. A new workforce development and employment and training center opened last month in conjunction with the New York State Department of Labor and Cayuga Community College to aid in developing skills and work with employers to fill vacant positions and provide skilled laborers. I'd like to personally thank Kelly King and her staff for the hard work they put in each day to make this a reality. One of the challenges facing our communities is the rising cost of energy for New York ratepayers. That's why this past week I added my name to a letter with other county board chairs throughout the state expressing concerns to Governor Hochul about the current energy policies that prioritize renewable sources, such as wind and solar, over other alternatives. Although I support renewable energy and the stewardship of our environment, my concern is the rising cost of energy, including smart metering, the loss of valuable agricultural lands, and the potential negative economic impact on our businesses. I continue to receive complaints from constituents about the exorbitant electrical bills due to their new smart meters, and I encourage RG&E and ISIG to investigate the cause to provide solution to homeowners as they face unsustainable energy price increases. Our communities continue to suffer from rising costs of groceries, fuel, and durable goods. Rising energy prices will only continue to combat economic growth as we work to secure the future of our own economy. One of the highest priorities when I became chair was to move forward on deciding the future of the Cayuga County office building. Of course, completing the plans that have been starting for the relocation of the county staff has been done concurrently. I am happy to report that staff will soon be occupying the space at 63 Genesee Street, as well as the space at the former Employment and Training Center at Cayuga Community College. I'd like to thank Dr. Durant for working with us to find a space that is both economical and feasible for both the county and the college. Fitting the building from an IT perspective, both buildings, both 63 and the college, has been a challenge. And I want to publicly thank our IT team, led by Tom Bunn, and our staff for their many hours of work. I know when Tom came to Cayuga County, he said he wanted a challenge. Well, I'm sure he certainly got one. Determining the fate of the county office building calls for additional steps to be taken, and those steps are also in progress. We currently have 2 court orders to retrieve documents from the 2nd and 6th floors. A variance from the Department of Labor has been obtained, and the process of decontamination and removal of those items will be taking place shortly. We have also obtained another round of air quality and surface tests from the 1st floor. I am pleased to announce those results were negative for contamination, which is consistent with all other reports since the building closure. The removal of items from the 1st floor will begin on Monday, allowing us to the process of moving the county clerk into the CCC space and moving forward to provide a future home for our DMV. After the documents retrieval, the investigation into the cause and origin related to the vermiculite will begin. This environmental assessment and the results are critically needed to determine the cost of remediation. Without this information, we cannot make an informed decision on the best path forward with our building. All options are under consideration: remediation and renovations, demolition and new construction, and looking at existing buildings, or a hybrid of all the above. It is imperative we move forward in the most fiscally responsible manner, and gather this information will allow us to do so. It is more than past time that we make this decision and move forward. I know this past year has been challenging, and I truly appreciate the patience of our staff and the public. Cayuga County must continue to plan and look towards the future, not just in its building and economic development, but also how we function as a government. Cayuga County must find ways to be more efficient, streamlining government, and cut wasteful spending, while still providing our state-mandated and local mandated services without sacrificing public safety, essential services, and customer experience. The challenges to our budget remain the same: continued unfunded state mandates, rising inflationary pressures, labor and health insurance costs, and I fully recognize, as well as my colleagues, the structural deficit we are facing with our operating budget. And I am committed to reducing unnecessary spending. This deficit did not occur overnight. This has occurred over many years and will take far more than just budget cuts to rein it in. We must continue to focus on economic development and growing our local economy through small businesses and attracting new families to our communities. That's why this past month, I was pleased when the legislature passed a resolution to allow Cayuga County to apply for and pass through a $1 million state grant to be used with new housing infrastructure, to help answer the call for upscale housing within the city to allow our workforce to live in a community where they work. I look forward to working with our towns in the city of Auburn. As we look to expand the economy within our county, we must continue to partner with our city, towns, and villages to make our economic goals a reality. As we look towards the future, we must determine the best path forward for our government. Do we stay with our non-chartered county? We must recognize that the current form of government does not lend itself to any consistent leadership year after year. We must look towards the future of our government and determine if we should establish a county charter and an executive form of government. That's why today I'm proposing the establishment of a charter commission. This commission will help the legislature determine the best path forward for our government and will continue to lead us for generations to come. You know, like many of you, growing up as a kid in the 80s, I remember when America was referred to as a shining city on the hill. And it is literally morning time, but it's also morning time in Cayuga County. And, you know, you might believe it, but I actually see Cayuga County as that shining city on a hill. And I hope in time, and I know in time, others will as well. As I stand before you today, I am fully aware of where we've been. I know where we are, and I have a vision for our future. And I'm pleased to stand here this morning and tell you that the future of Cayuga County is strong, the future of Cayuga County is bright, and I believe in the future of Cayuga County. Thank you.
At this point, we will allow for questions if anybody has any. Jessica has a microphone. If you have any questions, if someone from the city wants to come up, I got to move away so I can see. Well, I want to thank the city and county for their updates and presentations. Thank you to today's sponsors, 2+4 Management, Market USA, and Hunt Real Estate, and of course, always our Diamond members, Tompkins, Lions National Bank, and Lakeside Enterprise. I want to have a huge round of applause for APT and the food from Cafe 108. Thank you, Janie, Brian, Angela, and Carrie for a great venue and the wonderful food. A couple of chamber updates. Our nominations are open for our chamber awards. Go to CayugaCountyChamber.com to nominate your favorite business. There are also individual award categories. The nominations will end at the end of the month, which is approaching very quickly, and the awards luncheon will be May 8th at the Springside Inn. We also have a Business After 5 next week, Tuesday, March 25th. It's at the Hematology Oncology New Auburn offices in Health Central from 5 to 6:30. I hope you can come and welcome them to Auburn. And then our State of the Schools, registration just opened yesterday for that, is on April 21st. That is a Zoom event. It'll have Auburn and Large City School District, Cayuga Onondaga BOCES, and Cayuga Community College all giving updates and information about what's going on there. Leadership Cayuga is wrapping up quickly. In May, there will be the project presentations and graduation, so watch your emails to register for that. And I want to just say thank you to everyone for coming this morning. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.